So, welcome to the second M+M Livestream. This is our uh, podcast where we're both at separate places. Um, Today, our first topic will be uh, Johnny Manziel and his starting position,
Yeah,
him versus Hoyer.
Hoyer. So I personally think he should get the starting role because first off, he is probably one of the most, um, I think, one of the most versatile quarterbacks in the whole NFL because he can run, he could throw. Most quarterbacks can't do that. Peyton Manning can't do that. Drew Brees sometimes. Tom Brady cannot run for his life, and Eli Manning and etc. So he can have the whole package, but if he plays and he doesn't, party and do all that crazy stuff, I think he could potentially be one of the best and start.
Yeah, I mean, he would have to do a very bad job to not get the starting position over Hoyer. I mean, Hoyer has just had some pretty bad seasons.
Yeah, so I think he should make it, like, because everybody now is like Johnny Football, oh my gosh, and they have their jersey of him, and then let's say they go for the first game of the season, and everybody's wearing Johnny Football, and then you see Hoyer playing quarterback. It just doesn't look right, and
Yeah,
also, like, just I think he deserves it, but if he doesn't party and do all the drinking and, like, doesn't act like a college kid again, I think he should get the
yeah.
starting role.
Once he got out of college, he can now get paid, so he doesn't have to worry about all that in college, how you're not supposed to get paid and all that stuff. Like, now he can just do like whatever. So
Yeah, so he's good. He's just gotta watch. He's gotta have to be much more mature than he has been.
then he
So
was in in
college.
college, because
Yeah. I like the what I said. I think he should get the job done. There,
yeah.
like, he would have to wet the bed so badly to not get the starting
Yeah, I mean,
job.
Brian Hoyer is just, he's not even
A court.
close to a top level. He really shouldn't even have been, he had to be the starter last year, but he's just not good at all. Like,
Yeah.
I mean, Johnny Football, like, he might not be good in the NFL, but basing on a college, he has to be decent. He's got to be better than Brian Hoyer. I mean, he would
And
have to be awful.
he's got some weapons too. He's got Gordon, but he's getting suspended, I think, for the rest of the whole season because drugs, I think, and he didn't.
Oh,
He was tested positive, and he's got the tight end Cameron. He's pretty good. Last year he did pretty good, and so he has some weapons. It's not
he
like
does,
he's
he does.
got nothing. And I was gonna say that Trent Richardson, but he was traded to the Colts last year. But they're not too good. They're like in a rebuild. They're still in
Yeah,
rebuilding, and Johnny Football is a good pick for them to get
yeah.
started.
I mean, Johnny Manziel is obviously the most anticipated draft pick of the
Yeah.
entire year.
Him and the guy in the Texans. Um, he's a defensive lineman with J.J. Watt. I forget his name. Clowney.
Yeah,
And also, I want to talk about some Giants picks too. Um, Not picks, but overall, because we're in New York, New Jersey area.
yeah,
Um, I think the Giants could do okay this year. Eli, the last couple preseason games, he didn't really do much. I just
well,
think Rashard Jennings, he had a good game against Pittsburgh, ran for that long touchdown run. But overall, like, when they played the Bills, I didn't think he really didn't do that well. Like, he had a fumble, he maybe thought it through for maybe one or two. Like, he didn't really do much.
yeah. Um, he, staying on the topic of the NFL, who do you think is going to be the best quarterback this year?
The best quarterback, I personally think, could be, like, best, like, top, or, like, somebody that I think could be good or best.
No, the best. Who do you think is going to be number one at the quarterback position this year? Last year was obviously Peyton Manning,
Peyton
hands
Manning.
down. Yeah.
I think Drew Brees. I
Yeah,
think I think he's gonna have one of those seasons when he's gonna throw over maybe 300 yards. He's got weapons. He has Jimmy Graham. He's got Colson. He's got a nice running game with uh, whatever. He has the running game's not bad, and the defense is pretty solid after Sean Payton is back from the suspension. And um, I just think he will come back after having a mediocre season in last year, and then 2 years ago he had like one of his worst seasons ever. I think he will definitely have a good output, like great game. I don't great season. I don't think Peyton really will. I think Peyton will be the same. Like there's really only if he gets an injury.
yeah,
Because
yeah.
he has good weapons still, like Demarius Thomas, and Julius Thomas, but they lost Eric Decker, but that's not a big loss, and they have Wes Welker too.
Yeah, I think you may not believe me, but I think Andrew Luck will be the best quarterback this year. And
I,
the
I
reason
was
the reason is Andrew Luck has been exceptional the past 2 years, especially for a young quarterback.
I like the
And
kid.
over the past 20 years, there's been on regular quarterbacks a jump in third year performance. First, second, it's over like a 17 to 20% increase in how good you are. And Andrew Luck has been exceptional. And now that he has Reggie Wayne back, I think the Colts could be pretty unstoppable, especially since they're going to try the no huddle offense.
Definitely. I agree with you. I wasn't gonna say Andrew Luck because there's other quarterbacks that have won. They're much elite, but I'm definitely I in fantasy football I'm picking him. Even if I don't even get first pick, I'm picking him like maybe because I know people won't pick him in a draft, but like I'll have like I think also Jay Cutler could be good too because um if I watched a couple of I saw one of the preseason highlights. He had a pretty good game. He threw like pretty well, but overall, I think he this year will be one of his best seasons because he has Brandon Marshall, one of the best, probably one of the best, probably right behind Calvin Johnson, and and he has Bennett, but he's a little wackadoo. But they, I think, could be one of the best teams. They have also Matt Forte if they want to do some running game, but I think he's going to have a much better season. And I think they'll make the playoffs too, but I
I
might be over.
Yeah, there's no doubt that if Luck and Wayne and their defense and offense stay healthy, there's no doubt that the Colts
Yeah.
have a pretty good chance of making the playoffs.
And remember,
And
they have one.
they also have a good chance of making it far in the playoffs this year.
And remember, they don't just have Reggie Wayne. They have Akeem next too.
Oh, yeah, yeah, that guy. But um, let's get off the topic of football and talk about the Kevin Love trade.
Yeah.
How
Yeah.
do you feel about that?
So basically, after LeBron went to Cleveland, back to Cleveland home, he I already knew after LeBron got signed, and then they signed Mike Miller, and I even think didn't they sign Ray Allen too, or is that just like,
I forget.
I think
I don't
that's
know off the top
the,
of my head.
but then the lineup they have right now, like I actually really didn't think he would go through, like they would trade Andrew Wiggins. I knew they were going to trade Bennett away, but I was not expecting um, Andrew Wiggins because now he doesn't have a mentor anymore because he's going to get mentored by Ricky Rubio. Like, what? Like LeBron would have. I think if he was stayed with LeBron, I think Andrew Wiggins could have been one of the best upcoming players.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't understand. Like, from the Cavs' perspective, I think
It was a good trade.
Kevin Love for
I know.
Andrew Wiggins is, a good trade unless Andrew Wiggins turns out to be exceptional. But Kevin Love is, he's solid. Like, he's consistent. Andrew Wiggins would be a gamble. And I think that's what the Timberwolves are doing. They're taking a gamble, seeing if this consistent player could be traded for a gamble and see if it could pay off,
Um, Kevin Love at the end of the season, he wanted to get out of the Minnesota
Yeah.
anyway. But I think trading Andrew Wiggins for the Kevin Love, I think it actually is a bad trade because Kevin Love is getting older and Andrew Wiggins is younger, and
Well,
you can and LeBron James could mentor him and make him a all around good player and keep him like I just think like if Kevin Love was like a younger maybe a little mid 20s, maybe a little late 20, like I just think he might be too old to win a championship and
yeah.
then he'll retire like 5 years and then Andrew Wiggins is just playing for Minnesota and then he'll be like the one guy that got picked and he'll be like
Well, right now the Cavs are working on very short term, because LeBron only has a 2-year contract and can opt out of the first year. So
actually
basically
well
what the Cavs are doing is they're thinking very, very short term. They're
that's
thinking 1 year,
smart.
2 years. Andrew Wiggins, obviously, if he's good, he could be 10 years. But what they're
Not
saying is
years.
Kevin Love, at least the next 2 seasons, he looks pretty good.
Yeah, definitely. Like I think they'll probably if they have a good season this year, not like how he did in Miami the first year where they like choked. I think actually they definitely if they have a good season, I think they could win maybe both times, but you can't tell.
Yeah.
Like LeBron could maybe flop or get injured or you don't know. Like Kevin Love might not be the same. You don't know. You
Yeah,
just don't know.
But, Andrew Wiggins is obviously more of a
Yeah.
gamble than Kevin Love, who's been pretty consistent.
It's
And I
not
think,
really a gamble because Wiggins had a great season in Kansas. He was because Embiid way or whatever the center. I forget where he went. I think he went to the 76ers, but he had to carry the load on offense because he was injured. The Embiid, the center, and because I was watching when they played West Virginia, I think they lost, but he was keeping them in the game and he was making every shot literally. Like they would give him the ball but I don't know if that will translate to the NBA, and the NBA is much harder because you
oh,
got guys
yeah.
that are are veterans. You're gonna play like he's in the Western Conference, the hardest between
Yeah,
Western and
probably.
Eastern, and he'll have to play against Durant, and he's gonna play against Tony Parker and Tim Duncan, Manu Ginobili. He'll be playing against Zach Randolph, David Lee, Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, all of those great players. And also, actually, before it was the Cavaliers and trading for Kevin Love, Golden State and the Timberwolves actually were going to trade David Lee and Klay Thompson for Kevin Love and like a first round pick. And that was going to be one of the trades, but they were like that was going to happen, and then it just like
I think Golden State is
going to be a
very
good
good
team.
how they are. They don't need to, if they really can't, they shouldn't make any changes because they're good at what they have right now.
Hmm. And what do you think about the Knicks? What do you think Derek Fisher will do for the Knicks? Do you think they'll go? Do you think I'm not saying do you think they're going to go all the way, or do you think they'll make the playoffs, do pretty good? Do you think they'll have like a do you think they'll have a winning record this year?
Yes, I think that the goal for Derek Fisher to stay as the coach is to get a winning record. If they can make the playoffs, then that pretty much solidifies another year that he can coach. If he gets a winning record, then he has a pretty good shot. If he fails to get a winning record, then he's going to have trouble staying in New York.
I don't think so because Phil Jackson's the GM, and I personally think Phil Jackson is not every day, but like when they're at practice and games, I think Phil Jackson's gonna be down there sitting there, and I know he'll be like telling him what to do. Like he's not gonna just be like, all right, do what you want. Like I know he's gonna be like Derek Fisher's basically like the puppet, and Phil Jackson's just working him and doing whatever to try to get everything. Like he's just because he doesn't want to take so much responsibility, Phil Jackson. He just wants to kind of like I'd rather him be the GM because he's smart. He's not like
Yeah.
I would like him as GM and the coach, but he's Derek Fisher's like the puppet and he's being the coach and the GM too. So it's kind of
Yeah.
a double
I
whammy for
think
us.
I think that the Knicks, they've got a pretty good shot at getting a winning record. Like, the expectations are now a winning
High.
record. They're not getting, I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. but I think they could have a winning record. But what's been shown in the East is that you could make the playoffs and be pretty bad. Like, you don't even have like. Wasn't there a few teams that weren't above 500 and they still got in the playoffs? Like, that's sad. Okay, that means for the NBA, that means you have too many teams making the playoffs and not enough teams that are on the bubble. Like, you have teams that if you have a 500 record, you're almost guaranteed in the East to make the playoffs.
Like if the West, if you take some West, like there were some Western Conference teams, like I think it was like the Golden State Warriors and like Memphis Grizzlies, they were in like the last seeds in their division and they were like above 500. They would have been like the second, third seed of
Yeah,
the
I think
Eastern.
the NBA needs to move towards a playoff system that doesn't involve conferences. They
Hmm.
need to just have a grand playoff where they should cut it down actually from 16 teams to 14 teams, and then so you
One
don't,
of
the
12.
pool is a pool of playoff teams is just the overall record in the league, because this division thing is awful. I mean, the East doesn't stand a chance against these
Yeah,
West teams. Like,
definitely.
you should really have that. What even if most of the teams are from the West, those are the teams that deserve. Like, the teams in the West that were really good but didn't make the playoffs, and then there were East teams that made the playoffs and they were awful.
Like I want to tell you something. And I think I probably said this in a couple podcasts, but when the Red Bulls went to the finals 2008, they were the last seed in like the like playoff bracket thing. And then when they beat Houston, then they had to play Real Salt Lake for the Western Conference. I don't know why. It was like this weird thing, like whoever was last
Yeah.
place. And they won that, and personally I think they should do that for the Western to the Eastern. So let's say like the last place in that Eastern or the Western, or if let's say like a team that didn't make it but like was above 500 and the team that wasn't in the Eastern should play each other to see who would go through, and then the Western and then the Eastern will play the Western, and then the Western will play the Eastern.
That's not bad. Like, I think what you're saying is that the East and West, it shouldn't go West plays West until the top. And East plays East until the top. You're saying they should just have East play West, like, and it doesn't matter. Like, it's everyone. The conferences don't even matter.
No, I'm saying like no, I'm saying like the top like 5 or 6 seeds. I know, no, like five are like they'll play each other like one and like whatever. They'll play each other, but then the lower seeds, the last seed for the Eastern, if the record is bad, but if it's like above 500, then it doesn't matter. But if they're like under 500 by like 10, maybe 5 games, and then a team from the Western was under 500, but they were above 500, like good record, but they didn't make it, then I think those two teams play each other. Whoever wins, let's say the Western team wins, they play. I messed up before I said the Western plays the Eastern. I mean the Western should play the Western, the winner of like one of the games, and
Yeah,
then we play like or the Eastern. If one of the Eastern wins, then the Eastern plays another Eastern team, and then they play each other again like that. Like I don't
yeah,
think, I don't think it's fair. Like if a Eastern team that was so bad is able, but I know traveling is like a big mess, but still, like it should be down to whoever has the best record.
yeah. So what do you think about uh, about what's his name? Steve Ballmer buying the Clippers.
I really don't care because I just think I know people are gonna hate me for this, but I personally think what's his name? Who's the
Steve
owner again?
Ballmer.
No, the other
Um,
racist guy again.
Donald Sterling.
Donald Sterling. I actually think he got robbed. And
Yeah,
my point is because he was saying something private to his girlfriend, and he could trust her, and she taped that conversation. That's just
no, the
messed up.
girlfriend didn't. It was someone else.
Yeah, but that's still messed up.
Yeah. I mean,
You don't they were private. It wasn't like he said it on television. And he was like, "Oh, I don't want black guys at my like."
yeah. I think that
Yeah.
also it this is the
Like he did.
penalty
He did
was extremely hard. I mean, I don't think they need him to sell the team. I mean, like
a
maybe
1 year a season ban.
like
That's a little much.
1 year or 2 year ban and like a multi-million dollar fine. I think that would be better, but I think they're just doing it to get good publicity, you know.
Yeah, there were, and you remember that one thing on the SNL, and you remember he's like, I never gotten so much handshakes from black people.
Yes. So moving on to the MLS All-Star game against Bayern Munich.
That was a good game. I was very happy. I'm a Red Bulls fan, so if you could see by the poster right there. I actually think if you're a Red Bull fan, if this goes on YouTube, yeah, right, it's going on YouTube,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, it's going on
If,
YouTube.
if it goes on YouTube, if you're a Red Bulls fan or if you're any kind of fan, comment if you thought your team, your players from what your team you support, did you think they had a good All-Star game, and also did you think Pep Guardiola should have shaked his the coach for the All Stars should have shook hands, or do you think
Yeah.
So I thought the Red Bulls they played really good, like Cahill, Henry, and Wright Phillips. Those three for the All Stars were playing. They played amazing. Henry was showing off his moves. Cahill was just knocking people down, and Wright Phillips got the amazing goal. I know it was Landon Donovan's last year, but he didn't say that yet after. But I know he hit the goal, and he's like the biggest player. I think Wright Phillips did deserve to win the All-Star, what's it called, the MVP, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, I think as a Dortmund fan, obviously, you know, Borussia Dortmund. Bayern Munich is rivals with Borussia Dortmund. They're not rivals because like they're close or anything. They're only rivals because they're pretty much the only two legitimate teams that can win a title, and it's been that way for years now. Like, and it's not changing anytime soon unless Munich or Dortmund has a bad season. So, what does it mean for Munich to lose 2-1 to the MLS and
Nothing. I don't think it means anything because it was just a friendly and all-star. Like, I don't think it really, like, I just think, it was a good game. They actually played pretty good. Lewandowski played great. The goal he scored, I wish we could show you, but,
copyright?
FIFA and all or the MLS would just, like, rip us to shreds and we would have to make a new channel. That's our luck.
Yeah. I think it does more good to the MLS than it does bad to Bayern Munich. But it still does kind of hurt them because they were huge favorites, and since they're a European team, like they're one of the best European teams playing against the MLS. And remember, this is America, okay? The soccer, even though the MLS is growing exponentially, it's still America, and soccer is still not that big here. And in Germany and most of Europe, soccer is huge. Soccer is the number one thing, and they take huge pride. And here, it got coverage, but not as much coverage, as it did probably in Germany,
Actually, my dad told me that he has a friend in England, and he said that actually his friend said, you guys have more coverage of soccer than we do for, like, the BPL, like, every game, like, we have every game, like, they only can watch maybe one game, like, we cover
you know what that is? Their TV service is awful. It's not really because of, like, obviously they're in England, but the thing is their TV service is really lacking.
Mm-hmm. And
we have games like occasionally the big games will be on NBC,
No,
but most of them are like on NBC Sports Network
or ESPN.
Yeah,
like,
they don't have those. They have like a few sports channels and that's it. They don't have nearly as many sports channels. So
like going back to the All-Star game, I think I was actually predicting the All Stars to win because personally, how the All Stars looked, the lineup, they had a great defense. Matt Beasler was a USA a World Cup defender, and Ramondo was also goalie for USA too. He played okay too. He played good. He made some really good saves. Um, also, they had Cahill, an Australian international, played in the World Cup. Henri, a legend. They had Zusi, another USA World Cup player, and Michael Bradley, another USA player. And they had Martins and Dempsey. Dempsey, USA international, played World
Yeah.
Cup. And Martins didn't make the team, but he should have. He's been having a great season. He played in England. He played for Newcastle and Inter Milan.
You know who
So,
didn't make the U.S. team? Landon Donovan. That was weird. Why? I don't know. What was? Do you know the reason why
yeah.
they didn't?
Reason why is because Jurgen Klinsmann picks the players that are young and are playing good. And
That's
at
true.
that time, Donovan was not playing good at all. He was, he was lacking his aggression, and he wasn't fit. His fitness was low, and like that was the reason why Eddie Johnson picked. He wasn't scoring goals, but hey, I think he should have been picked over Wondolowski. Because when you need a super sub, for me, I personally see for USA as a super sub is Eddie Johnson. He's just amazing. He's just like he can head the ball. He's fast. He's strong. Like Wondolowski can score, but like I just don't see him as like that sub that comes on and like gets you a goal. Like Eddie Johnson could win you a header, or like he could win you a penalty. Like he's just so good. I don't know. I just felt like he should have been picked no matter what. And
Yeah.
Donovan, I just thought he should have been picked, but at the same time I agreed, and also Donovan agreed too with him. He said, "Hey, if I'm not ready, don't pick me." Like it would have been nice to see him. I think he could have made an impact against the what's it called, Belgium game, but you know what? I just think it was a good pick, and unfortunately, this is it for him. He's retiring as probably the best USA player that ever played. So
Yeah. Obviously, Jurgen Klinsmann knew what he was doing because he got them all the way to the knockout stage, which is pretty impressive by U.S. standards. I mean,
they could
no
have
one
went
expected
farther,
them
but
in the group of death. But obviously, they could have gone farther. But I think Jurgen Klinsmann had a plan. He stuck with it, and he knew what he was doing. And I think round of 16, who could or sorry, round of what was that, 32 or.
round of the 16.
Yeah. I mean, no one was expecting that in the group of death, so I think Jurgen Klinsmann overshot expectations. Obviously, they could have gone further, but I think they did a nice job, and Jurgen Klinsmann really knew what he was doing.
Hey, and also look when Brazil lost to Germany like 7-1. Hey, USA only lost 1-0. That was a good result.
That's true.
Still, they gave them a nice fight. Still, I actually think USA could have beaten them at the last couple of minutes. They could have beaten them, but I know you were celebrating for Germany.
Yeah.
He's just like a front runner. This guy, he just joined the bandwagon because of Dortmund.
I did not just join the bandwagon.
He did.
I like Germany because I like Germany.
Because on FIFA Ultimate Team, this is all it started. You got the demo.
No. Hold on.
You got the demo.
Hold on. I like Germany as a country before Dortmund. Dortmund I liked because of the FIFA 14 demo. Okay.
They were fast. That was it.
Yes. Okay. So yes, I like Dortmund because of the demo, but I liked Germany before that. So obviously, and then they just go together, like it just goes together.
My personal opinion was he got the demo for FIFA, and then he was picking teams, and then he saw that Dortmund was fast, and they were a good team, and then he's like, ooh, maybe I'll, and then he got and then he figured out they were German, and then Bayern Munich, and then he's like, oh, I'm a German fan.
No, no, that is not it. That
It
is
is. It is.
no,
You're like,
that is not it. I always liked BMW, which, is German, so that helps a lot. So,
a car helps a lot.
yes, yes, BMW is not one of those things
It looks
where
like a spaceship.
it's
Those cars.
they
You see
don't
the
look
front
like
of it? The front of the car. It looks so weird. It has like that weird design in the front. It looks like a spaceship.
well, it
Leave a
looks like a
comment.
good spaceship.
Leave a comment if you think BMW, the front of the car looks like the design looks like a spaceship or like looks weird or looks
Oh, and
funny.
we want to give a shout out to I don't know, it just says one
No?
viewer as since we're recording this live, it says one viewer. So if you're that one viewer live, we're giving you a shout out. Comment below what I just put a comment down there because we wanna find out, like want to give you a shout out, man.
And subscribe to the channel too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just
Subscribe to the M+M Nation. Get into the nation. Join the nation.
join the nation.
Yeah, the M+M Nation. So what else do you want to talk about?
Um, you know, I
Oh,
think that pretty much
going back,
wraps it up.
going back to the All-Star game. So, the reason why, if you people didn't know why Pep Guardiola, the Bayern Munich coach, didn't shake the Portland Timbers coach, the All-Star coach, what's his name? I forget his name. Caleb Porter. Caleb Porter. And the reason why is because during the game, the All-Stars were fouling, like not fouling too hard. It wasn't like a red card should have been thrown at them, but like they were, there were some fouls that were like, nice, not dirty, but like, not the cleanest tackles. And he was mad at Caleb Porter, and he was yelling at him through the whole game, and he was like, I'm sorry, it's not my fault. The players are playing. This is the game. If you don't want to play, then don't bother playing your guys. Like Thomas Muller, right, Bastian Schweinsteiger, because he got injured and he got off the field. And then after the game, he just shakes the finger and says no, and he was just waiting for the handshake. Like that was just disrespectful. Because the guy lost respect for him. Like you would expect a classy Bayern Munich coach. He's coached all over Europe, and you would think he'd be like, hey, good game, just you gotta watch with your players. But he was just not classy at all. I don't think Caleb Porter should be upset or mad at all. He should just be like, you know what, that's his fault. Caleb Porter was the right person. Don't even think you're classier, much classier. You're much above them.
He was.
Even though you're coaching an MLS team, don't worry. The guy's just Pep Guardiola is just a nut now.
So, comment below how you think the audio quality of this mic is. I'm just testing it out now. I haven't heard
I think
myself.
it's fine.
All right.
So.
I think that just about wraps up the live stream. So,
comment,
subscribe, all that. We have a website actually. It's mnmpodcast.weebly.com.
The link will be in the description.
Yeah, M+M podcast.weebly.com.
Or if he does not leave the link in the description, then if you follow Matthew on Instagram, Matthew.48, you will find in the description it will say.
No, follow our
podcast.
Our podcast.
It's M plus. It's like the plus M podcast, and you'll see the same picture of our profile picture from the YouTube.
And actually, right now while we're recording this live, Munich is playing Dortmund in the German Super Cup. So
who's winning?
I don't know one yet. There's no score. It's 0-0. But so I have to go eat and do my book report and watch this game. So I think it just about wraps up the live stream. So subscribe, comment, and have a good day.
Join the M+M Nation now.